Oh, hi everyone. Michelle asked me to uh, sort of fill in for her. I can't quite fill in for her because she would have lots of eloquent things to say that I won't have, but I'm happy to do this. It's been great to have Murad and Morgan as part of the team this spring. You got to do lots of fun things. We're going to be really interested to hear about them all, and it's always a fun time to celebrate having had this time with you and seeing, and for those of us like me that weren't as involved with what you've done, to see what you worked on and everything like that. So this is always a special day for us, and I'm glad that the team was here to get to celebrate it. I also want to do I have to admit someone? I don't have my
Sorry,
glasses
I'll do
on,
it.
so
No worries.
I would hit the wrong button.
All good.
All right. But the other thing that I want to do is this won't be the last chance, but to really recognize Cody, because this is the last intern group that she will have as her own. She's going to transition to Caitlin doing this from here on. And I think I know all of the staff and all of the interns, not just Morgan and Marat, but all that have come before, all so appreciate what an incredible job Cody has done with this program. It's really um, made it a way of both bringing great value to the organization, but also a really solid opportunity to get exposure for interns to the work that we do. But really what's great about this it is that we bring in the rest others in the community to share that as well. And that's really something that Cody has cultivated to make sure you have a chance to hear from all sorts of people in different professional operations and whatnot. And so, Cody, you've created just a really great template and framework for this program, and your commitment to it has been outstanding. And how much you really care about what the interns are getting out of their experience and trying to make it better each time, and then also giving us a chance to interact in lots of different ways, and including everyone in opportunities together for events and other such things. So we so appreciate this. I know we'll be able to celebrate you again as well. But thank you for everything you've done, and I wanted to share that. So with that, I'll turn it over to Cody.
Thank you guys for being here. Of course, most of you know me. I'm Dakota Dolan, the Forest Program Manager, and also the Internship Program Manager. It has been so fun managing the internship, and I really am thankful for being able to have the opportunity to do that for the last couple of years. And thank you, Tim, for all of your really kind remarks and thank yous. That means a lot. And it's great to kind of send you guys off on a good note, and I'm excited to see your final presentations here today. This is kind of a really fun cherry on top of the term when we get to celebrate what you've done, and you can share with everybody else exactly what you've been working on for the last 12 weeks. And so for anyone who's unfamiliar with the internship, it's a 12-week immersive experience where interns are kind of brought on in the service of our work. So interns are paired with a staff mentor where they work together to cultivate a project that both kind of addresses needs of the organization at this unique moment in time, but also brings on board each intern's unique skills, interests, and goals. So it's kind of a marrying of these two ideas that is in the service of our work and of the community. So hopefully you were able to gain a lot from this. It's always really fun to cultivate the experience for you guys and make sure that you get everything you need to kind of take the next steps with confidence and knowing that you have more skills under your belt. So without further ado, I would love to introduce our first speaker, Morgan Sellden.
Hey everybody. So I guess to introduce my project, this term I was really focused on supporting and expanding the mission and impact of Insight Art for Climate Change 2026. And so this is a look inside Insight. For a little bit of background on myself, in case I haven't spoken to you guys yet. So I originally grew up in Grand Junction, Colorado, but traveled all around the state as a kid, and that's really where I fell in love both with camping and hiking, but also just the outdoors in general. I got my first undergraduate degree from the University of Denver with a Bachelor's of Arts in Economics with minors in Sustainability and Public Policy, which was really kind of my first academic interest and entrance, excuse me, into the world of climate action and climate change. Currently, I'm finishing up at Colorado Mountain College, my second Bachelor's of Science in environmental stewardship and science, and I'm really looking forward to continuing those classes and learning more as that program goes on. I really want to give a huge, massive shout out to my staff mentors. First off, Abby, and then second off, Cody. Abby, truly, you've been a world of resource for me this entire experience, and I truly couldn't have done it without you. And then Cody, truly just reiterating all that Tim has said, thank you so much for all of your hard work and everything that you've done as well. Additionally, shout out to our Insight 2026 partners, as well as a special shout out to Wild Horse Cinnamon Arts for not only allowing us to use their venue and space, but for supporting the project and aiding us in setting up and cleaning up. So for a little bit of background, Insight Art for Climate Change was reimagined for its third year. It was originally started off as an internship project, which was a great opportunity for me to kind of see something that started as an intern be brought to such fruition and to be at the scale that it is today. Overall, the goal was to elevate the arts as a means of engaging, empowering, and inspiring climate action and its value through storytelling, visual representation, and community building. Essentially, using art to create conversations around climate action and help build resiliency across the Western Colorado community. Additionally, this program was donation-based, and so it did help support other programming at Western Resilience Center with 25% of the proceeds from each art piece sold going directly back to us. My role in this whole thing was basically split into two different sections. So the first section was just to help support and facilitate the exhibit and actual events. So this included promotions, setting up, creating different deliverables, particularly some artist statement cards, as well as just aiding in running the events once they actually began. And then the second half of my project was to expand the life and mission and message of Insight 2026 through the creation of a calendar, which we'll see the process and final result here in a little bit. However, overall, I really did want to gain just a deeper understanding and perspective on how large events are organized and ran, especially on the nonprofit level. So each of the events I split into different categories just because I felt like each one was its own unique experience. So for the opening show, I created the artist statement cards, as well as helped set up both the exhibit and the opening show. So completely transformed Wild Horse Cinnamon Arts into basically a little mini exhibit. And you can see some photos of us getting everything laid out and figured out. The best orientation of everything. And then at the actual show, I was responsible for helping check people in, as well as answering questions throughout the show, both about the art, Western Resilience Center, but then Insight in general. Our next event was the Insight film screening. So this will include setting up for the event once again, as well as checking people in, processing payments, but then overall just engaging with the film and discussion panel. If you guys weren't able to make it, this film truly was a great representation of all of the different elements of climate change and how humans and our impact plays a role in everything. I thought the discussion panel after was super impactful, and just even sitting in the crowd was hearing conversations and comments and people connecting with it really from all walks of life, which I thought was really good. And then next we had our Insight Kids Create event. So this one, I really helped facilitate activities with the children. And of course, climate change in the children's eyes is a little bit more simple, but really just hearing even them talk about riding their bikes or there not being any snow or anything like that was definitely really impactful. And then just helping clean up with that event as well. Additionally, so I did an interview with one of our artists, Moan White, and so created the questions and then reached out to her, and then eventually ended up creating a blog post that is up on the Substack based around that interview. She truly was a great person to connect with. Her, not only is she, Not only is she a local young artist, but her perspective on climate change and how it's really impacted the Western Slope, as well as just how she can use art to kind of express that, was really unique. And if you guys haven't checked that out, I would definitely recommend it. And then finally moving on, I started after the events were all complete and we kind of had Insight wrapped up, started on that second half of the project, which was expanding the actual impact of Insight. And with some collaboration, we decided that a calendar was going to be the best way. Not only is it something people can take home and physically have art pieces from the show in their houses for a lot lower cost point, but it also allows us to advertise different Western Resilience Center events, programs, and get people excited for next year's Insight event. So overall, I did created the calendar on Canva and Google Docs. It started with just an initial brainstorm and outline, which was then revised into 5 sample designs that then, with some collaboration with Abby and various different members of the team, finally were able to narrow it down and come up with the final design, which we'll see here in just a second, as well as doing printer research on who and where we should actually get it made. Finally, for our outcomes, looking at Insight specifically, we had 47 local artists from all across Western Colorado, from all walks of life and different backgrounds, all creating various pieces, some flat as well as some 3D, which was really cool to see the different mix. Very successful events. At the opening show, we did sell out with over 200 people attending. And if you guys were there, I feel like you could tell just the energy and overall crowd in the room was exactly what we were looking for. We had 61 people attend the film screening and then 5 families attend the Kids Create event. So overall, I felt like we really did reach a good chunk of the community. And once again, as I mentioned, just hearing the conversations and seeing people connect with each other over shared perspectives that they didn't even know they had was exactly, I think, what we were hoping to see. We also did have successful profits. So we sold 25 out of the 47 total pieces. And then just once again, really with all of that, the main success really was creations of community and those inspired conversations, prompting from the art pieces. Additionally, we did do that. I did do that blog post. And then finally is our calendar, which runs from August 2026 through January 2028. So it is a longer 18-month calendar with the hopes that people, one, not only can see more of the art, but then also use it for a longer time, don't have to repurchase one, all of those good things. So to show you guys a little bit of an example of what the calendar actually will look like, this is an example of one of the pages. So on the top right-hand corner, you have the title of the piece as well as the artist's actual statement that they put out about it. The statements have been shortened just to fit the page, and then as well as just a little about the artist at the bottom. Then this is what the inside or actual calendar pages will look like. So this is an example of August, each calendar. Oh, and I did fix that little missing line in the middle, nobody fret. But essentially each of the pages has a different action on it that the audience can take. So for August is subscribe to our newsletters. And then each one has a QR code that allows for easy access. This is another example. This one is of April, featuring Beauty in the Botanic Gardens by Samantha Hampton. Some future suggestions for just Western Resilience Center within the internship program as well. I would recommend using the calendar both to sell, but then to also use as promotional materials for Insight 2027 and to really get artists excited about having their art be featured both in an exhibit, but then also in other ways outside of that. Additionally, another idea is to give away as welcome gifts to future interns, employees, partners, and volunteers, essentially just showcasing another aspect of what we do here. I really would love to see us continue to spread Insight's mission and values throughout the year and specifically focus on continuing to use art as a medium for climate action. I feel like especially art can be something that not only is good for the individual person, but can then, as we've seen, be a means for creating community and creating that future action. Looking at Insight 2027 specifically, overall, this event truly was incredible, and the new venue of Wild Horse Cinnamon Arts, I do feel was a great fit. However, I would maybe suggest changing the flow a little bit and staggering, especially for the opening night, the entrances and time slots of people to come in, just that way not only can we get more people through to see the art, but then it's not so crowded and they're actually able to kind of see, experience, and have those conversations in a little bit of a quieter space. Some of the other contributions that I did throughout my internship. So I did 2 blog posts. That first one we've already discussed, but then a second one on how climate art gave me hope. I was responsible for the February and April Next Generation newsletters, which are already out. We also went as a team, went on a tour of the Murph and Apex recycling plant, which you can see pictures of here, which was really inspirational and just really reminded me, one, of all the good work our community does, but also the importance of continued education and continued promotion around these sorts of ideas. Additionally, we had an intern bonding night at Storm Peak, which was super fun, as well as attended community meetings and watched a quarterly update meeting as well. Some personal takeaways. Overall, I really did gain so much from this internship. As far as some professional skills, my writing and just use of climate change vocabulary and terminology dramatically improved. I think I feel so much more confident with having to put my writing and work on display. So that was a huge takeaway for me. And then just overall, really my knowledge and understanding of the impact and importance of art has truly changed. I've always loved art, but never really, not saw the importance, but never really understood how deep of an importance art has in community. And so seeing that just expressed even on a local scale, as well as all my research and learning so much about the history and how art's been used truly across time really has changed my perspective on that. And then overall, just also gained a gratitude and appreciation for the Western Colorado community and just having so many people that do care about climate in our little bubble. And then additionally, I feel like this internship really does just solidify that I want to work to advocate and make climate change information understandable and accessible to all, and especially relate to people at the level where they're at. So with that, just to acknowledge some special people, I really want to acknowledge my fellow intern, Marat Washburn, for all of his support, help, and just sticking with me through all the meetings, as well as Kate, who's our donor, and Kate, Kate Brocktow, sorry. Bracata, I'm rushing it out, and I said it right originally, and I'm nervous. Baracto, who's our donor engagement manager and also a huge aid in Insight overall. I loved all of our conversations and you just telling me about your work and as well as just everything else. Also shout out to Simone White and Jill Bergman, 2 of the local artists from Insight. Jill's also our Creative Climate Communications Associate, both for just speaking with me, telling me more about their art, and really letting me ask a bunch of questions and pick their brain. Shout out as well to Element Print and Design in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, for hopefully printing the calendar when we get printing the calendar here in just a little bit. And then as well as just each and every one of our guest speakers for sharing your knowledge, wisdom, as well as just inspiring us every week. Now, any questions? Tim?
So you said you overheard or pleased that you heard interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Curious, give an example of something you heard that was surprising to you or really interesting that you heard people talking about it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I think that the one that immediately jumped out to me was at the film screening during the part where they were talking about like air and how asthma was being increased and showing all those children. The group next to me had no clue that that was happening, especially in Colorado in our own little backyard. And just hearing their concern and just kind of initial reactions were, I'm assuming exactly what the filmmakers wanted, were, horror, shock, and then just them talking about like their next question was immediately like, oh my gosh, well, why isn't somebody doing anything? What can we do about this? And one of the last comments they had was like, I'm trying to remember exactly what they said, but it was something about just being so grateful to be in Steamboat and having just our fresh, clean air around us. And I thought that just that perspective of Denver's really not that far away, and just even thinking about 2, 3 hours and how much communities change and are different, are impacted by climate change differently, really just made me think about how much local work still needs to be done. And even though I feel like, at least for me, like the global issues and global scale kind of overwhelm me, but focusing on the local stuff, I think is definitely one of the solutions for that. Oh, yeah.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, Abby.
Well, it makes me so happy that you said that the internship made you feel like you want to continue to make climate information
Yeah.
accessible. So I guess I'd just love to hear about kind of maybe how that internship shifted or kept you aligned on like your ideas of what you want to do in the future.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. So I, coming into this internship, knew that I want eventually to work in climate action, climate change in some realm. But I think a big question for me, and also with my schooling right now, is kind of where I would actually fit in. And just overall, I think you had a bit of impact on me with just your ability to really answer people's questions, but then make them on a level that was understandable and could easily be interpreted. And just I could see how much, especially like at the kids event, just using like specific targeted language really did help and impact the activities to move forward, and like helped people feel included and important. And I think especially like with climate change, so much of it is like it feels unapproachable, and it feels like something we have no control over, and there's nothing we can do. And just even from this internship, I've learned so much about what I could do to help, and just to be able to actually bring that to other people and other communities, I think is something that not only like I love chatting with people, I love being social, and I definitely think I have those skills already in place to be able to do that. But really just wanting, I think, to make just climate change accessible to everyone and make it so it's not so grand. Mhm.